live. So we are going to let some people get in a little bit, and we're gonna start and we're gonna rock this thing out. Everybody good?
I'm good.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
How you doing?
Listen. Y'all see my tree? Hold up. Wait. I did that. Okay. Just saying. I was like, all my whole work has to be shown. Okay. Y'all gonna see this tree. Who's on? We got some people coming in slowly but surely. Everybody have their drinks ready and poured up.
Yep.
Doris. Hey, Sasha. I got my notes. We're gonna rock this thing out. We're gonna wait for a few more people to come in. So what y'all did today? How was your day?
Supposed to be watching the Saints game, but
We haven't been on live for 5 whole minutes, bro. Before you started showing out, we haven't been on live for 5 whole minutes.
I'm trying to show you some love. See, look what you did. You cut the brother down.
I got the updates on my phone. I told you when y'all see me looking down. I'm taking my notes. I got the updates on my phone. Don't laugh at him, Sasha. He just likes to start with me, and I don't even understand. I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Besides Ernest's rudeness, how's everybody else doing today?
Good.
Can't complain.
Well, you know, the virtual church thing today. That's it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about church.
Wow. Church ain't forget about you, Sequez.
Wow.
About the Lord.
It's no. I've been going. It's just been a real hectic day, and honestly, I totally forgot. My bad. Okay, don't judge me.
No judge zone.
It is a no judge zone. It's a safe space, right? All right, so we're gonna wait till 6:05. We have a few people more coming in. I just got a couple of text messages saying that they're gonna start joining in, and then we'll start this thing off right. We're gonna start this thing. Did y'all find the Solomon and Angel? Did y'all find that the group?
I ain't even look yet.
Don't look, Solomon. You got stuff to lose. Don't look.
Oh.
Dang.
Wait a minute, what I get?
Hey,
You engaged now, bro. You got stuff to lose now.
That's true, bro.
Don't do it.
That's real. Well, if I just mind my business, then that's
Angel, you single though. You single though, so you could get a little peek. You could get a little peek. So let's start. People are pouring in. Let's start. So, hey everybody. Hey Shay. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome back to Champagne Conversation. I am your host, Sequez. And we're going to kick this thing off just like we normally do. We're going to go around it's not the room, but the screen. And we're going to introduce ourselves, tell them who you are and where you're from. And then we're going to move on to our icebreaker. And then after our icebreaker, we're going to do what you're drinking on. So I guess you could just introduce yourself and tell them what you're drinking. And then we'll move on to our icebreaker. So I'll start with myself. I am Sequez. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, but currently living in Nashville, Tennessee, where the mask mandate is not here. I am drinking Chronic Cellars. It's mad good. So this is what I'm drinking tonight. I'm going to pass it to, my camera is set up, so I'm going to pass it to Sam.
Oh, okay. I get the honor of going next. So I'm Sam Cotfield. I'm originally from Far Rockaway, Queens, New York, but I currently reside in Atlanta, Georgia. What I'm sipping on today, I don't know if y'all see that, Down Home Brew. It's black owned, actually by fellow Morehouse man. And also when I'm finished with that, I'll go on to the McBride sisters.
Yes. Black owned as well.
And yeah, I'll pass it off to Joss. It's on you.
What's up, man? Andros, from Long Beach, California. What I'm sipping on is the classic Crown Royal and a little Simply Lemonade. So that's it. I'm gonna pass it off to the one that's directly below me, my boy VA.
What's going on? It's Solomon, formerly known as VA, from VA. This evening I'm sipping on a little Basil Hayden. I should have had the bottle in reach distance, but I might go grab that later on. But a little bit of that and some Simply strawberry lemonade.
Yo, Symphony is fire, period.
Yeah, it gets the job done.
Yeah. Who you pushing it to?
To my left is Ernest.
I'm Ernest Green. I'm from New Orleans, and I don't drink no more, so got some coffee.
Who you passing it to?
The only person left, Kenny.
Come on, Kenny.
Kenny, originally from Denver, Colorado, currently residing in Dallas, Texas. I am sipping on the classic Hennessy tonight. We may see if we have to re-up soon, but that's where we at.
All right. So everybody know what they're drinking on. If you want to comment on what you're drinking on, you feel free to comment in the comment section. So we're going to move on to our icebreaker. I would text the guys what the icebreaker was, so they should already have their answers. So if they start stuttering or act like they don't remember, they're lying. Okay, so we're going to move on to our icebreaker. And the icebreaker is, what is the worst date you have ever been on? And y'all bet not lie. But what is the worst date you've ever been on? If you want to comment what's your worst date you've ever been on, please feel free to use the chat. Okay, so he's about water. Got to rehydrate from last night. Anyway, so I'm going to start with Kenny. What is the worst date you've ever been on?
Worst date I ever been on was a while ago, and we was in college. It's funny because Andros has a good idea about what the worst date I've ever been on was, and he may have a similar answer. But senior year of college, we were going out for Valentine's Day. It was a rainy Valentine's Day. I think it was a Sunday night or something like that, and my girlfriend at the time, who is now my wife, was taking her sweet, precious time to get ready. And we were already late. And then when we got to the next spot to pick up the next couple, they were kind of getting into it and kind of late. So the whole night was just a bad vibe already. We get to the restaurant, take some time for our dates to know what they want to eat. So I think overall the vibe was pretty nasty, and so we kind of were in silence for most of the date. There wasn't a whole lot of talking. The romance just wasn't there, and we ate and left basically in an hour and a half, 2 hours. Went back to the house, and that was it. So wasn't real romantic on Valentine's Day, and it was just the vibe can be messed up from jump if you don't set it. So that was the worst date I ever been on. It was just a little crazy.
I think the red flag is that you went on a double date on Valentine's Day. That's a flag to me right there.
Yeah, that's probably an issue. That was probably an issue for sure. I never did it again. So I learned my lesson. So yeah, it's not.
I think the red flag was right there from the beginning. Who you gonna bounce it to? Who you bouncing it to?
I mean, I kind of have to drop it over to Andros. So what his answer is, and similar, you just know, it was a tough night.
So look, so I am that other couple that was on that double date with him.
Girl.
We're not gonna put all that out there, because if you know me in college, you know what girl and who it was.
Let's be honest, you had a couple.
Oh,
y'all
really?
Like
Come on now.
I'm not gonna blast her out like that. But just know she was a well-known person on campus. So yes, I was that other couple. But that is actually not my worst date. I've had a recent date that topped that. So I actually was set up on a blind date, maybe about 4 years ago, by one of my friends out here. Set us up, cool. So we go to the restaurant. We go to PF Chang's. And you know when you Shay, when you go to, you know what I mean, when you're on a first date, you kind of get to know each other and like you just have a whole conversation. So I'm in conversation with this girl and she literally tells me to do not look at her. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, don't look at her. She was like, yeah, like don't look at me when we're talking. I said, so where am I supposed to look? And she said, I don't know. You can look anywhere, but just don't look at me. And so I was like, okay. So I'm literally having to look at my food the whole time I'm talking to this chick. The whole time. We end the night, and she said, look, I know you probably never want to talk to me again. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. So, but she was like, yeah, she was like, I'm just really self-conscious. I was like, man, you probably need to work on that. Listen, so I stopped talking to her. Fast forward maybe about a year ago, she slides in my DMs on Instagram and asking me, she was like, hey, are you single? I was like, no. She like, no. I was like, at the time I was like, yeah. I was like, but you're married. So she was like, yeah, but I want to hook you up with somebody. I was like, I was like, for pure entertainment, I was like, let me entertain this girl. I said, so what's up? She was like, yeah, I want to hook you up with my husband's baby mama. I said, let me stop. Let me just delete her. So yeah.
That's your fault, bro. That's your fault for letting the date go that long. After she told me not to look at her, I'm like, all right, sure, let me take you home real quick.
Yeah, weird. That's my worst.
Wow.
Who you bringing it to?
I'm gonna pass it to my boy Ernest.
All right, the worst date I've been on was a double date. This
Doris, you listening? Okay.
This was probably about 6 years ago. It was with Doris, of course, and one of my partners. And so he was dating this chick, and I never knew her name. Like I never knew her name. We had a code name for her. So the whole night, I'm looking at her trying to remember her name. I can't remember her name. So we went ate. I didn't remember her name. I just kept talking to her. So we get to the movie theater, and something just clicked in my head to say, I ain't even gonna say the code name, but I said the code name. And my boy turned and looked at me and was like, bruh. So she looked at him and was like, well, that's what y'all call me?
Wow.
And then for the rest of the night, they were just arguing, fussing. I'm looking at Doris like, man, this day over. Like, it's over. So the next day, my partner called me. He was like, bro, what? How you do that? I'm like, you never said her name. We kept calling her the code name, so that just came to my head.
I want to know what the code name was.
Yeah, bro, we gotta know
the
code name.
The code name was Neighborhood.
Oh no.
Wow.
I can't dive too much into that.
Oh man.
Oh my God.
Huh?
Who you passing it to?
Oh, I gotta pass it to Sam.
Oh man. You didn't do that.
So listening? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna just say mine was a double date. I've had several, but I'm gonna just go back to college, and I'm gonna just say the double date for sure. I remember it vividly because I remember the movie that came out that year was Laugh at My Pain with Kevin Hart. And my boy needed me to like, you know, kind of be the wingman, you know, double dating. And the friend that this girl had was, you know, she was kind of, I want to be politically correct, but let's just say she was a lot. She was a lot to deal with. And I mean, she was just loud, just, you know, just every time she want to crack a joke, she got to hit me in the arm, like super tough. Like I'm talking like squaring up. Like it's not even like a slap. It's like a, you know, like a straight punch. So pretty much we had the movie. She's laughing loud. Everybody looking like, why don't you tell this girl to shut up? You know, it was just embarrassing. That's all I remember about that night. All I remember about her is that she had a dude that was locked up at the time, and you know, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't want no parts of that. So at the end of the night, I just let her go her way, dropped off, and I did my thing, and that was it. Nothing too crazy. Anything
with these double dates?
Any more details, I'll give offline.
In the group chat. In the group chat. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what's up trying to group these double dates.
Double
dates never work.
Yeah,
double dates don't work.
Yeah. I ain't had no bad double date experience, I don't think. But
what's your worst date?
I
don't know your fiance name, so I can't call her out. But
yeah, she right back here. She
listening.
Say nothing crazy.
She said she listening.
Okay.
It was I forget what year it was, but it was right before me and Kiara started dating. One of my mutual friends from church actually hooked me up with one of her coworkers, and we took a trip out to Memphis for the Southern Heritage Classic, and I remember actually we ran into Kenny, which was the start of the bad date experience or whatever. Now, mind you, I had, you know, y'all, for those who know me, you know, I wasn't single for too long in between things, whatever. But I had just started talking to this girl. I was like, look, you know, I'm not too long out of something. You know, let's just keep things, get to knowing each other right now. You know, we don't have to move super fast because that's what I normally do. But so, you know, we get there and I see Kenny, and I think you were with your mom or your sister or somebody, or it might have been both of them, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I just introduced her as, this is my friend, you know, Jane Doe. And my understanding, yeah, and my understanding, we all grown. Y'all know I don't live in Memphis. You know, if I introduce you to my old roommate, Kenny, you know, he knows that this is not just a friend. This is somebody with some potential, you know. But, you know, she didn't see it as that. She told me that she was about to go to the restroom or something. She just needed to walk around. And she walked off. I ain't see her for like 30 minutes, 45 minutes. So now I'm like, Lord, I don't know. You know, she not from Memphis, you know. I'm like, I don't know where this girl went. We finally linked back up. You know, we go into the hotel. We arguing in the car. Not to make the church aspect of this joke even worse. But she had sent me like this devotional thing that she wanted to do, you know, like this daily thing. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know, that's what's up. But I had missed a few days, and she was really, really upset about that too. So that came up. You know, it was all bad. It was really bad. It was a really bad weekend. And then if that was the Southern Heritage Classic that got thunderstormed out, so I didn't even get to see the boom. I was pissed about that.
Yeah.
It was really bad. It was really bad. Needless to say, that did not work out, which is all cool. You know, it's all good. But yeah, that's probably my worst. That's probably my worst date.
That's freaking hilarious.
Yo, can I say something?
He didn't get to see the boom. Like that's the part that he felt he needed to say. I didn't get to see the boom. Got rained out.
Yeah.
I just want to sequence. I just want to put this out there.
Mm-hmm.
For the double date that Kenny was referring to, it could have been a lot worse because there was supposed to be a third couple that was supposed to go.
But you're not
But they didn't go.
We don't want no, bro.
Wait, who was?
There was supposed to be a third couple that was supposed to go.
We don't want no.
But it fell through.
Was that me?
Thankful because
No, that wasn't me. Was that me?
yeah, that was you.
Okay, I don't remember who. I don't remember who that was.
That was for Solomon. That was for Solomon. Okay.
It's like they were trying to
Yeah,
save
but
you.
then he's getting part of my memory in the group chat with that one too.
I would say the worst that I've been on, but I'm sure he's watching this now because he told me he was watching it. No offense, but it is the truth. We was at this dope restaurant and we're just talking and he
Come on.
no, like it was just like a no, like we was you know how like you can like when something's funny, you kind of probably laugh out loudly and you kind of catch yourself because you're mindful of like how your voice travels. Mm-hmm. He was that all the time, but he wasn't mindful of it. So he's talking that loud and like I'm looking around, you know, and then he was eating and his food spit out of his mouth and landed on my sweater. I just lost all concentration after that. I'm just looking at my sweater and I just couldn't. And I was just like,
Did he acknowledge it?
Probably not.
My sweater. I'm looking at my sweater and I'm looking at him and I'm looking at my sweater and I'm looking at him and I'm looking at my sweater. I'm like, I was like, can I have the check? She was like, oh, one check or two. He said one. I said no, two. I don't want you to consider it. And I paid for it. And I was like, it's been nice. And I just dipped. And I blocked him.
Just like that.
Listen, I don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste my time. Let's be respectful of each other's time. His food fell on my sweater. Did you not his food fell on my sweater?
Was there anything before the food hitting your sweater? Was that it?
No, he was short.
Y'all need to stop doing that.
Short, like
y'all need to stop short shaming.
No. Like not
What's
like
short?
Like not short, like 5'6" short. Like
see, that's shaming.
I'm sorry that you're listening because I know you listening.
I was about to say, homies.
Wow.
If you comment, I'm gonna just exit. I'm gonna just end the live. It was like no lie. Okay, it was my friend hooked us up, and I didn't know how short he was. So he was like 5'5", like short. So the fact that I have to bend, it's just a problem for me, son. Like it was just a problem, and that was just like so that was strike number one. Strike number two, he was talking extremely loud the entire time, like it's a normal tone. And strike number three is that his food hit my sweater. He was your short Rika. He was just like all red flags. And I was like, nah, son, I'm good. And he hasn't commented yet because he knows the truth. So boom.
What's worse, him being short or the food hitting your sweater?
Good question.
You got to think about it.
Yeah, being short.
Both are really bad. Like, thank you, Veda. That was horrible. Okay, the thing about it, he can't control his height. So I'm gonna say the food hit my sweater. Yeah, because he can't control his height. However, he was short, and he had a little disability. Okay, whatever. Move forward. we're gonna move.
He was fun.
Wow. So moving forward. So guys, when I say guys, I'm talking to the people that's listening in. I did have 2 other people that were supposed to join, but they are not available to join. And one was a married father who was older than us, and it was also a divorcee. And I had them to add different perspective to the conversation. However, they could not join, but the show must go on. So we are happy with who we already have. So I did want to point that out, that there were other people that were supposed to join, but life happens, right? So shut up, Rika. I ain't actually write it out. Like, he did have a disability. Moving forward. So everybody, so we're talking about the Black Daddy Wild Black. And so we have only one father on here now, which is Ernest, and we have Kenny, who is a soon-to-be pops with twins, right?
Yeah.
Great. Great.
Right?
What's that?
You having a boy and a girl?
Yeah.
Wow. Are you?
No, that's it.
Gonna be, oh wow.
Is
That's it.
that it?
Look,
Hey, that's 100%
I don't know.
something.
I've said it. I've said this is it. Like we got one of each.
We're good.
That's
And
it.
so I have, of course, Solomon and Sam, who are married, who do want to have kids, and then Andros, who is single, who do want to have kids. Well, you know what? You never know if Andros is really single, but
Get off my guy, man.
we're going to move forward. So I do want to talk. I just want to start the conversation off. Are you guys aware of President Obama's speech that he made on Father's Day? So on Father's Day in 2008, President Obama had a speech. I just want to quote the speech, and I want to hear you guys' opinion on it, right? So he says in 2008, President Obama said during his Father's Day speech, more than half of all Black children live in single parent households. Children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in prison. They're more likely to have behavioral problems or run away from home or become teenage parents themselves. So, with that quote from President Obama, what do you guys think about that and the perception of Black fathers in America?
I'll go first. It kind of hits home for me, in per se, because I did grow up with a single mother, but that was because my dad died of AIDS. So he died of AIDS during that, when the AIDS epidemic like first hit, and then there wasn't really no cure. They was really shunning people and all that kind of stuff. So I understand that whole dynamic of growing up without a father and stuff like that. But I do, having worked at Crenshaw High School, which is predominantly the only Black high school left in Los Angeles, I agree with them, because when you would see graduation, when I would go to graduation, all I would see would be the mothers. Like, all I would see is the mothers, and you would see fathers. I'm not gonna say there wasn't fathers that was involved in his kids' lives, but you can see the mothers most of the time, and they were the only ones that was there, and there was very few male figures, so they always gravitated towards us, the Black men that was at the school. So and so you kind of feel more of a pressure coming from I guess you can say like a father figure type person with that, because like the route that they're heading down is not good, and you want to do everything that you possibly can to help them out, but you can only do so much for one person. So that's why I was saying, so it kind of, I can kind of relate to him a little bit, because I can be like, look, I grew up in a single mother. Like, my mother like literally mortgaged everything she could to make sure that me and my little sister made it through college, and you know what I'm saying, getting our masters, and she graduated from Tuskegee, so she really did she could. And you can see that in the mothers now they're growing up without a father. But they tend to, as a young black male who's been through that, you kind of gravitate them. You want to pull them in and be like, look, bro, like, I know you don't have a dad, and I know them streets is going to eat you up, because I hate to say it like this. One of my students, his senior year, I'll never forget it. And it broke my heart, and it still breaks my heart to this day. One of my students, his senior year, he didn't have a dad. His grandmother was always the one that was involved. His senior year, he always would talk about he wanted to be in the gang. Always talked about he wanted to be in the gang. And his friends would literally try to convince him, don't do it. We'll talk to him like, don't do it. I'll never forget. He crossed one Saturday morning. That night got shot and killed. And it just literally broke us down, especially all the black men, because we literally was like, what could we have done better in that moment? Because like, where was his father at in this situation? Like, why didn't his father try to pull him out? So yeah.
Anybody else want to add to that before I put my my little 2 cents in or whatever? Anybody wanted to add to about Obama's comment?
Yeah, I think it's just it's an example, that he refers to when we talk about the things that could happen to kids without their father. And it's the lack of being able to see the things that you would want to have embodied in you. It's the lack of not seeing that with your child, or the lack of the child not being able to carry out that vision or that that kind of lifestyle. Because I think one of the things that, even for me, there was a period in time where my dad, like, I had an opportunity to kind of stay in Colorado. So like, some people that know me, again, I mentioned that I'm from Denver. I had an opportunity to stay in Colorado. My family was moving to the South. And I had a lot of people that wanted me to stay. So like, they wanted to keep me with them, and they're like, we'll take care of him, and he'll be fine out here. And the one thing I always remember is my dad saying, no, I'm not going to let my son grow up in his formative years, so the end of high school and then going into college, without a father figure. And at the time, it was always like bittersweet. Like, I do want to stay out there, but I get it. But it was always like, what's so important about that? And I would see it just little by little while I was going through my junior and senior year in high school, and then in the college. It's being able to go see him and have these discussions about like real life stuff that I'm about to go into in high school and college. And so it's like, these different things you're going to have to look out for, because life is about to hit you fast. I'm not here every day to see you and talk to you and make sure you're still walking the straight and narrow. Like, you're going to have to remember this when you're off and going and doing your own thing and having your independence. And I think whenever you don't have that reinforcement, and Ross, you had mentioned it, being at the high school and being able to kind of be that for those kids is super important, because, they don't have the example. Like, mom can do everything she can to be able to like just really provide nurturing and love and everything that they can. I mean, everything. But it's just having that father figure that can really, that understands where you were and where you're going and what you're dealing with each and every day, that you can't replace. And so everything that he was talking about, President Obama was talking about, I think it has to do with the fact that example's not in front of them. And they just didn't have the opportunity to really learn how to go about being a man in this country and in this world. So.
Okay. Anybody want to add anything before I say something?
I agree with Joss and Kenny. I believe that is true. However, I also believe, like, I read an article where, although that's expected and it's kind of like a common thing, I heard that that's like, well, after reading the article, it pretty much stated that that's not necessarily the truth anymore.
Exactly.
So I will say this new generation of men, they're just more, or young men coming up, they're more motivated, where not all of them necessarily need someone to look up to. They kind of have examples from, I don't know, from like the TV, from entertainment, or just anyone that they look up to. That's enough motivation for them to like be self-made, you know? So, I mean, a father is needed, but at the same time, I feel like this new generation, they're kind of finding ways around it where they're not just depending on advice from just the single mothers, but they're also like self-motivated to be the first in their family to be that.
Ernest, you about to say something?
Yeah, I think it's important to have your father in your life because you can see where you get certain attributes from. I can't tell Kenny kids when he have his kids how to be who he was, or where he get a certain thing from. Like my son, I can see with the online learning, I can see he learns like me, so I could give him tools on how to learn or how to listen or look at this visually. He look at stuff visually. That's how I look at it. If I see it on paper or read it, I can get it, but faster. I can learn it faster visually. So it's certain things that a father can do that no other man can. So I think it's very important for a father to be there.
Okay, I want to just make a point and kind of reiterate what Sam was saying. I think I understood what President Obama was saying. However, I feel that to make such a blanket statement and not put all of the nuances in there can be dangerous because statistically speaking, Black fathers are more active in their kids' life than any other group. Any other group. But what they did when they made these statistics, where they were just trying to loop it with married couples, right? Now we do know there are a lot of people, relationships, or whatever when it comes to the Black community where we have high marriage. However, we have a lot of, I don't want to say baby mothers, baby fathers, but like people who have had babies or whatever, and they're not married, right? So they co-parent. So there's a lot of co-parenting relationships that's happening in the Black community. But Black men are out of all the racial groups, Black, white, Asian, and other, Black men are more engaged, more active when it comes to their education, to activities, to all these different type of things. So I understood what President Obama was saying about the importance of having a father around, and this is how it can bleed, but not when you make such a blanket statement like that and give it and just kind of reiterate the stereotype that Black fathers are not present in their children's life. It's infuriating, but it's also dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you know personally active fathers in their children's lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think you got to be cautious of making just to kind of reiterate the same old stereotype. You feel me? Like, it just kind of blows me. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's entirely different. Okay, so anybody want to say something before we move on to the next question? All right. So, to the fathers, to the people who do not have kids, Andros, Sam, Solomon, how are you guys feeling about being a potential daddy? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you guys feeling? Are you guys apprehensive? Are you nervous? Did you always know that you wanted to have kids? And to the people who are listening, also please feel free to add your 2 cents or whatever. But did you guys always want to have kids? Are you apprehensive about it? Do you have some nervousness about it?
Absolutely. Anything.
Especially in the climate today. What's going on in America today?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I feel like the climate today is shifting, so I don't, it changes so frequently that I don't have any apprehension about having kids because of how things are, in the country or whatever today. But things that make me nervous about having kids are, just on the level of being a provider. I think I can't speak for all men, but I think men usually, an area where they are most concerned is, providing and protecting. Grant, we in 2020, which is also side note, which is also why I would like to know why women still want a tall man. Like, what's a tall man gonna do for you? We ain't nobody hunting or gathering stuff.
Oh, you tall, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I mean, huh?
It's not about what they can do for you. It's about I don't want to have to bend down to love on you. You know what I mean? Like,
that was just one.
That's petty. That's petty.
It's all about preference. Why y'all so obsessed with? Never mind. We're not even going.
You changed the whole thing.
See, because Eric's knew I was about to go. He knew I was about to go. Okay, moving on.
But no, I mean, any apprehension about having kids would definitely be more so on the providing side. I'm not, worried about protecting, but I've always wanted to have kids. Even more importantly, to me, I've always wanted to pass on my name. I'm a fourth myself. My dad is the third. So, I need my fifth. You hit, babe. But I mean, not right now, of course, either. So I mean, but I don't really have too many apprehensions. I think that being nervous about any change in life is natural, and to not be worried about something like that would be crazy, but I think that's an exciting thing to think about, to have kids.
Okay, I'm gonna move to Sam because my girl Jasmine want to know, and the church wants to know.
Oh Lord, the church. Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure, baby. That's what y'all say, for sure. That was always gonna be. That was always gonna be.
Is that something that you just always knew that you want to have, or are you nervous about it now that the climate is changing and all of that?
That's not changing my mind. I always knew. Since I was young, I always knew I wanted. Why is she commenting? Okay. Yeah, I always knew since I was young. I mean, and shout out to what is this guy's LJ Brooks. I think he made a comment earlier. It was like, pick your child's mother carefully. Like that's a big thing. Although I wanted children, I knew it wasn't just gonna be with any and everybody. Like you got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with that. Like that's a big thing. Especially if I know in one of your last episodes y'all talked about being unequally yoked, and that plays a major part. Like it plays a major part. So I always knew I wanted children. I do have a preference. I don't know if I should say it out loud here.
What's the preference?
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Let me talk to my friends.
As long as I have a healthy child, that's all that matters. That's what they say. But I'm big on legacy, so for sure, I knew I wanted children.
What about you, Jossie?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. What's up, Lof? Just want to say what up. Yeah, I do want children. And I think that's part of, and like what Lof said, picking your wife carefully, because then your wife. And I definitely wouldn't want to have children outside of that, because I've seen the effects of it. And I guess like going back to what Obama was saying, like you saying, but I've seen like how Solomon and Kenny, I'm using them because we're close. I've seen how both of their fathers were in their lives. So when I want to have children, I want to be in a similar type of space, in a similar type of role. But at the same time, I would be lying if I said I do not have a little apprehensiveness about it in today's climate. I would be lying, because I feel like I think just being Black in general is, in today's climate, is rough, and it is, you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. And you know what I'm saying? I think the thing is, one of my biggest fears, even when it comes to being a father, would be having to have that conversation with my son or my daughter and telling them, this is how the world works. You experience this because they do not like you because of the color of your skin, period. Because me, I'm not trying to I'm not trying to shut up. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying to. You know, man, I'm not trying to. I appreciate and I love interracial couples, but me, I want a black woman, and because I want a black woman, I know some of the side effects that come along with that. You know what I'm saying? Which is having that conversation, that almost that unwanted, unnecessary, but necessary conversation with your child about how to move about in this world. So for me, I want children, but I think that will be the thing that I'm a little bit hesitant about, and just be like, okay, when do you have that conversation? Because I mean, like, as you know what I'm saying, like, as you know what I'm saying, as men, we look forward to the conversation that we have with our boys. Like, all right, fellas, like this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? When they start to like girls and all that kind of stuff. But that conversation is totally different than the conversation of how to be black in America. So, and I think like Kenny and Solomon, and I know, and I'm sure Ernest and Sam and the rest of you guys, like how you guys, I'm sorry for taking up so long, how you guys have, you know, have father figures. Like, you want that person to explain to you what it means to be black. So,
yeah.
Okay. So Jossie getting cool points because he want a black woman.
Put your beard in, ain't it, Joe?
Here y'all go.
So last said, as a father, I would say we would never be prepared for fatherhood because of the climate. Well, life is a risk, and it's worth it. My son is a mini me, and good and bad, good and bad. So my question to now moving to Ernest, who has two amazing little boys. He has boys. So Ernest, what is it like for you that you have two boys coming into this, two black boys coming into their own personalities eventually? Potato is already had his own personality, and then Dorian is eventually becoming to his personality, and having two black boys in New Orleans. What was that experience like for you mentally? Not like, I know you was happy, excited, but like, what was that experience for you mentally when you found out that you have two boys that is coming up in this climate today?
I was happy. I was real happy. It's tough. It's tough raising boys, but I think it would be more tough raising two girls. I think I would be more worried for myself. But raising two boys, I think is going to be easy because I could relate to them more. So it's easier for me to tell them how to move as a black man and what not to do. And it's sad you have to tell them how to dress and things of that nature. But I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared. I was ready.
Mm-hmm.
I was ready. We were married, so I was ready. Well, Lil, you were engaged.
Potato was acting, homie.
We were engaged to the house, so I was ready.
Uh-huh.
So we was ready. Other than providing and keeping a roof over their head, other than that, I was ready. I wasn't scared. The climate doesn't scare me because we're always going to be a target, no matter what.
Yeah.
So it didn't bother me. I just had to show them how to move, how to protect themselves, and make sure they stay educated. And that's it. That's it.
So, Kenny, you're having a girl and a boy.
Mm.
So what was that experience for? I'm sorry, they're wilding. I don't know if y'all reading the comments, but Brandon and Laugh is wilding. So just ignore them. But Kenny, you having a boy and a girl. Like, what was that experience? Oh, shut up. What was that experience?
You shouldn't have pointed me to them comments.
What was that experience for you, having a boy and a girl? Like, what was that moment for you? When she first told you I'm pregnant, and after the excitement and all that, what was the next experience?
Well, first off, we didn't know we had two, so like we was just excited to have like a child. because we've been married now for now about 2.5 years. So at the time it was about a little over 2 years, and like it was just kind of natural. Like we were all right. We ready for kids. And so when we had one, we thought we had one. We were excited because we're going to be parents, and that fresh excitement that you have, I guess, when you're about to have a child. And so then when we found out we had two, I was shocked. I couldn't go into the hospital because of COVID. So it was FaceTime. I found out on FaceTime that we were having twins, and it just like blew my mind. So that took some time to kind of get used to. But when we found out that it was a boy and a girl, we were just really excited. I think because we both were ready for whatever it was going to be, 2 boys, 2 girls, or one each, but wanted one each just in case, like this is it. And we have the best of both worlds there. But, similar to what everybody was saying, there's just, in my mind, I'm still like right now, even today, still trying to make sure that I'm ready to provide all the love, the guidance, the counsel that I can give to my kids. One, taking my experience into account, and then relaying that to them. But also trying to give some hope that they can move about this world and be successful as a young black man and young black woman, and really trying to relay that to them immediately as soon as they're here in this world. And so it's just trying to figure that out, and trying to make sure that I care for them and show them all the love, and show them what it's like to have, hopefully, have parents, and to really grow up in a good, loving foundation that's centered on Christ, centered on love, and able to go forward and be successful. But it's like what everybody else said. Like, yeah, there's always the thought, like, are my kids going to come back home safe? Am I going to get a call at, I don't know, whenever, that says something happened to my child? And I mean, that, all the things that we've seen in our lifetime, school shootings and just like accidents that happen, just random stuff. Those are the things that just kind of play in my mind on, like, you don't ever want to get that kind of stuff. But really for us, we're excited. We're ready for them to come. We're on like a 2-month countdown now. So it's just like, let's go. But yeah, that's kind of where we are.
That's crazy. Like, there's gonna be 2. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
One time.
I got a question I want to ask him.
Huh?
I got a question I want to ask him.
Ask away.
Would you show one favoritism over the other? Don't lie. Don't lie.
Look, I mean, I think naturally, my boy, I'm really gonna love up on him and show him the way. All that, I'm gonna do that. But,
boy,
when I mean favoritism, let me be specific. Like, you'll let one get away with certain things versus the other.
Yeah, I don't know. I hope not. Like, I hope I'm very fair and really set the foundation for both of them on a surface level, that there are things, this is right, this is wrong, and really establish that right away. So I think at the beginning, at the outset, I don't think so. No, there ain't gonna be no favoritism. I think over time, we'll see. I'll just have to fight that a little bit more, just as they grow and materialize and all that kind of stuff. But nah, no favorite.
Quiz. Can I want to ask Ernest a question. Aaron, so I know you said you got 2 boys. So
Yes.
have you had to have that conversation with them yet?
No.
You haven't had it?
Little Ernest, he just about to make 6.
Okay.
So it's not he
not registered yet.
Yeah, he not even thinking about the world right now. Like he thinking about Robux and all type of other little gadgets and stuff.
Yeah.
I think once he turned probably 11, 12, when he started having it, like he gonna be on his own a little bit more. I think that's what is gonna come in. But right now, he always has somebody around him. So he not even asking no type of questions. He believe in Santa right now. So
what is to piggyback on the ring barrier? He was the ring barrier in y'all wedding, huh?
He was the honorable.
Piggyback on Andrew's question for Ernest and Kenny, when y'all do have kids, what do you think that conversation is going to be like when you have to have that conversation of like, you are a Black boy, a Black girl, and the expectation of you is different. The treatments will probably be different. The experiences that you may have in life will be different. And the fact that you can be the smartest in the room, the kindest in the room, however, there may not be space for you in that room. Any Kenny or Ernest, y'all both, either one of y'all can answer that or both.
You go first, Kenny.
Yeah, I'll go first. I was always taught that excellence is always that's always the goal. It's always the motivation to be excellent and to be first, to be the best that you can be in everything. And along with that, you have to understand, and this is the kind of conversation that was had with me, and I would plan to have with my kids. With that, as long as we're excellent, there are people that don't want you to be more excellent than they are, or there are people that are threatened by you being so excellent because of what you look like. And I think it's one of those things that you don't really think. You don't have to think too far on. You just have to really tell them like the truth, in that people don't want to see you succeed because of what you look like, and it's up to you to really take what being excellent, being great, and making sure that you're outpacing everybody else, because that's the only way that you're going to get to where you need to get to. And so that's where the instilling discipline in them early on, making sure that they're doing what they need to be doing to be excellent, to do well in school, to do well with athletics, to do well in anything that they're doing, is like you have to outpace everybody else, especially the ones that don't look like you, because they're the ones that are setting up our system to not make you successful. And so it's really about just telling them the truth, and making sure that they're aware and that they know, you just have to set the standard and be the example and do your best all the time. And if you do that, even though the world may not be as fair to you, like, you will be proud of the fact that you're excelling at what you're doing, doing the best that you can. And then we're going to try to provide the best foundation and everything else for you to continue to help you try to succeed moving forward.
What about you, Ernest? Good points, Kenny. Really good points.
It's the same thing my dad told me. I have basically the same conversation, that you set the bar on who you want to be. So if you want to be the best, do your best no matter what nobody says, no matter the color of your skin. You're always going to have somebody trying to tear you down. They may look just like you, but you're Black, so you're going to have an extra target on your back. They're going to try to suppress you. You're going to run into all type of problems. But, just do your best. And that's what I'm instilling in him right now. He don't know it, but that's what I'm doing him right now. So when I come home, I ask him how he did in school. And I know if he did good in school or not. He going to come up to me and tell me if he did good. But if he didn't do good, he going to run and hide. He going to sit off the phone. Ask your dad if you're mad. But right now, I'm still instilling him, like, you got to do your best. Because if you don't do your best, I'm going to come down on you anyway. So feel me before you feel anybody else. Just don't even worry about them. Just make sure you do your best. I'm going to be proud of you as long as you try. So I think just instilling them that to do your best right now. And don't worry about the people that's going to come up against you, because that's going to happen. So just do your best and live with the results.
Okay, I have a question. Okay, so we all know, if you've been on the podcast before or listen to my podcast, I'm big on self-awareness, right? And being aware of oneself and understanding yourself and how you act and why you act the way you do. Shout out to therapy. Black people should do therapy. Okay. So understanding who we are now, we're all in our 30s. Wow. And now that you guys have all said that you want to have kids. I didn't say it, y'all said it, okay? Y'all all said that y'all want to have kids. So do you think that I'm trying to make sure that I can say it correctly, how you was parented, would you want the same type, would you imitate the same type of parenting that you experienced growing up to your children, or would you switch it up and change it up? Because I think our parents understand, and I'm just trying to say this, because for me personally, I had an amazing childhood, right? Like I really had a bomb childhood. However, now that I'm older, I understand that our parents, when I was younger, my parents were superheroes. Like I feel like they just went through a course of how to become a parent, and they passed the class, and then they had kids. But understanding, like, now that your parents are literally just human beings that wind up meeting each other, did the freaky nasty, and wind up having a whole baby, right? Like, and now they had a whole life prior to you, and they was learning as they go, right? And so understanding that concept and putting them on a human level has kind of changed my perception of parenthood, right? And so, and knowing, like, they just literally did the best they could. They made mistakes, they learn from their mistakes, they try it again or whatever. So would being the parent now and being a future parent, would you want to emulate the same experience that you had and do that with your children, or would you want your children to have something different because maybe your parents fell short in some real crucial areas and you want to do something better or different?
I think, it's certain things I definitely want to take. Like, my dad is a master with finances. If I can just be half of, that, I won't have any, worries. Other things I'm sure I would, probably do a little bit differently. I think, um, uh, I know my dad had me at 40. One of the things I want to do is, have my kids a little bit earlier, because I think that was definitely a big thing with me growing up, because I didn't have any like older brothers or anything like that too. And then by the time I'm 10, my dad's already 50 and stuff like that. So, doing things as far as sports and stuff, once I got to an age where it was, you know, time for more competition, things like that, I didn't really have um, uh, an older, and also, I didn't have, I grew up in Northern Virginia, for those who don't know. So the first time I had a black teacher, a male teacher, oh no, black, female or male, regardless, was in Jackson State, so having that older black male role model is something that I feel like I didn't have to a degree, on an everyday type of basis. So that's something I would like to, be a younger father for, my kid, and also to them to have some. I hated being an only child. I have a sister who's my half sister, but she's 20 years older than me. So, I didn't grow up with her. But there's certain things I definitely like from my parents that I definitely want to pick out. There's not too many things I think I can say that, oh, I don't like how they did this or did that. It's funny how what Ernest was saying, how his son, when he does good, he goes to him. When he does, he just kind of hides. And that was definitely like me. We lived in a neighborhood with the mailbox that had the key, and I hated that because I didn't have a key to the mailbox. So when the report card came home, there was no chance of me getting it out before they could. So it was just, I got to feel the wrath of Solomon. And those who have met my dad, there's very few who, my dad can be very intimidating, I guess, whatever. But so that was definitely scary to grow up with. I think he didn't have to. I didn't get a handful of weapons. I could count on maybe one hand the times I got beat, but it didn't take much growing up with, the third. He was very impressionable person who left a mark that I didn't test too many, boundaries or anything like that. If you want to say that's kind of regret, I didn't take too many chances, whereas that might be something different. But for the most part, I liked how my parents, their style of discipline and everything like that.
Okay. Anybody else? Oh, I hear all y'all.
I would say my parents was I was raised the old school way, so I lost count of how many whoopings I got. I was the type to test the waters. Like I had to learn through pain. That was kind of my MO. So in that aspect, I think I would take certain things from the way my parents raised me, but some things I would change. A lot of the old school factors I think I would keep in a way to a degree. But I think that it all depends on your child, and you have to give that child time to grow and kind of get to know how to approach them. Mm-hmm. So I can't really give a game plan right now. I would have to let you know in the future, but I would say I would definitely take the best of my parents' way of parenting and kind of put my twist on it. When it comes to finances, I've learned what to do and what not to do. To Solomon's point, when it comes to the father being the money man, that was my pop. My mother was good with money too, but like he could work miracles with money. So that's something I definitely have acquired, and I will pass that on. Yeah. Anybody else?
I take from my mom and my dad the positive. It really wasn't too many negatives. My dad taught me how to be a man early. That's why I'm instilling in him now. So I fed him at an early age. No matter what I did, I thought about what was going to happen if I didn't make the right choice. So that, the discipline and to work hard, I'm teaching him that already. My mom came in with you going to church, no matter what day it is. When I moved to go to church, you going to church. So she put the feet of God in me. So I take that aspect. And my son, he already know when we doing the online church right now. So he know, look, he telling us, look, about that time. Like, turn on the TV, put it on Facebook. Like, look, you're going to sit here and watch it. So them two aspects, they taught me well. And the shortcomings, my dad would tell me, like, look, the mistakes I made. Try not to make those mistakes. So overall, I think they did a good job. Not too many negatives I could say about their parenting style, but like Sam said, I put my own twist on it. Like that's what I'm doing now. Like where what my mom or dad was too strict, that's where I kind of alleviate. Like I don't chastise him as much. I can't tell you the last time I gave him a whipping. Like I can't tell you. He still think about the last whooping I gave him, and I can't. That aspect, I don't do too much, so I know how to get to him in other ways. Like, okay, you can't have your phone for an hour, and it'll crush him. It'll crush him. The tone of my voice will crush him without me even touching him. Yeah. So certain things, like there's no guide to how to parent. You just gotta adjust with the child. So
yeah, I mean, I love what Ernest said about there's no guide to that, and that things are like different now than they were before. Because he mentioned like taking the phone away, I didn't even have no phone when I was that young, and so there was nothing like for me. I guess my punishment was like if you took my PlayStation away, then all right, you got me. I'll behave now. But it's like it's figuring out what that trigger is to make sure that your kids do well or stay on the right track. For me, I'm like you, Sequez. I think I had a great childhood. I had everything that I needed. And I think more than anything, it's making sure that all of your child's needs are met. That's to me the most important thing about raising the kids is just making sure that their needs are met, financially and everything like that. But it was one of the biggest things I think that set the tone for me is like they just put me in the best positions to be successful, or they put me in the right positions for me to find success or to attain it with discipline and hard work, or doing the right things, doing right and knowing what's right from what's wrong, all that kind of stuff. But I think for me, it was just putting me in the right position to be successful. My mom was kind of like the disciplinarian. Like if I did something wrong at school, she knew about it. And so like she would, so I got a lot of whoopings too. And I would get my mom more than my dad. And I knew that if what I did was bad enough to where my dad had to whoop me, that was bad. if it was coming from him, I really messed up now. And so it's like that like dynamic allowed me to kind of like gravitate a little bit more to my mom than my dad. And that's something that I would change, because I felt like okay, I know I did really bad when my dad came in and intervened, and I really probably felt like if I could have got that evenly, like there's no dodging. Like if I got in trouble with my mom, there's no dodging a pretty bad punishment. If I got in trouble with my dad, there's no dodging a pretty bad punishment. But really just having an even playing field with that, knowing that if mom catch you or dad catch you, like you're gonna get it as bad as it's supposed to be, or at least as bad as you deserve. So that's kind of what I would change a little bit. But putting your kids in the right position, I think that's super important, man. I think it's super important.
Bet. So we talked about different levels of being a father. I kind of want to go back to the media. When we talk about Black fathers, I think right now when it comes to Black fathers, it's like a push of like really trying to highlight that their Black fathers exist. Healthy Black fathers exist. And so do you feel that Black fathers get the credit and the recognition that they deserve? And if not, why or why not? Because right now, when you think about the mothers, right? Like Black mothers, the motto is, doing what you got to do, like hustle, the single mother home. She goes to school, she has a full-time job, and the struggle of the Black mother is definitely more frontline and mainstream. But they have a lot of single fathers, you know what I'm saying? That's taking care of the kids. The mother is not present, but the father is stepping up. And the media, how the media portray, and granted, it has a reason why it portrayed that way, because we know systemically that a lot of things have put our Black fathers away in jail for like frivolous crimes and like petty stuff, or they're not available or whatever. So there's definitely a space for where that came from. But we know that Black fathers are very active in their life. My daddy is in the next door. Okay, Big Sam, listen. I can't, to this day, I am 32. If I am out the house by 10, I am still getting phone calls constantly. He will stay up until I'm home, even if it's at 2 a.m. He's sleeping on the couch, act like he's not sleeping. He's at the door. Okay. So we know that Black fathers are really there and present. But do you think the media give Black fathers the credit? Because I don't know if you deserve credit for doing your job, but the credit and the attention that they deserve.
I think it's overshadowed. I think the how can I say this? The black girl magic and the super woman, black woman, that narrative overshadows a father stepping in or a single father stepping up and doing what he's supposed to do. That's just what I believe. I feel like it's not that black fathers aren't being recognized. It's just that narrative is better for the media to push versus the other.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my personal opinion.
That's a good opinion. Anybody else want to add value?
Black fathers, most of the time, we don't worry about recognition. So when we go out and do something, we just do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna speak for myself. I know a lot of black fathers. The fathers I know, we just do it and don't worry about credit. Like credit not important, especially in this climate. Credit not important when you're trying to create another what we're saying another narrative for black man and black father. So right now, we don't worry too much about recognition because at the end of the day, it's not important to get the recognition, but to try to change the narrative on how we are looked upon. I think that's going to come with the next generation. So the media, yeah, they don't portray us as good black men. That they're not going to show us being good black men. So that's something we can't worry about right now. So I think most black fathers, we worrying about providing and protecting more than anything. So do we feel, I can say, do we feel like we get overlooked? Of course. But is it the time to worry about it? I think we're not worrying about that as of now.
Okay. Anybody else want to add value?
I think it's interesting that Mother's Day is always more celebrated than Father's Day. Like, and it's not anything against mothers, but to Ernest's point, I don't think we really relish the fact that we would be celebrated for providing or being a good father. I think we love intrinsically our own, like, I think for us, it's just internal. Like, I love the fact that I'm able to provide for my child, or I'm able to do the things for my child to make sure that I'm being a good father. I don't need like a great big day, or I don't need a whole lot of recognition. But I also think when you talk about the media, I think it's those stories that we hear, especially when we're looking at our athletes and stuff like that, and we see that there's just the story about an athlete coming from the home of a single mother and then fighting through to get to being who they are. It's such a great story, and it's now becoming almost the norm so many times, so that when you do see like two parent household for an athlete, it's like, oh, well, they grew up like they're supposed to grow up. But when it's a single mother, then it's like that mother struggled to get that man to where he is, which is true. And mothers do deserve recognition for that. But that's been the story that's been thrown out there and pumped up so much that it's continuing to be that feel-good story. I mean, look, LeBron James is one of the most recognizable sports figures in the world now.
Yeah.
He will tell the whole world over and over that his mother was the reason why he's gotten to where he's gotten. And so him continuing to push that narrative is really, again, giving the media fodder to say, hey, like, single black females are doing they're doing the thing out here. And on the flip side, it's a referendum against black fathers. But on the other side of that, if a black father is doing what they're supposed to do, it's like an offensive lineman. If they ain't talking about us, we good. Like, if you ain't got to mention us, we doing our job. And I think that's just the way it is. And the media just feeds into that.
Well said.
Okay. How about this? So Fatima said, yes, Kenny, unpopular opinion. I hate those posts that where they don't give dads their day and wish their mothers happy Father's Day on. Okay, question. I have a question about that. It is because I see a lot of people having that same sentiment when it comes to wishing their mother happy
Father's Day.
Father's Day, Father's, you know what I mean? Yeah. What is that? Like, is that really offensive, or should they just not respond to anything? Like, what? because to me personally, I don't care, but maybe because I have both parents and I have that privilege, and you know, but to me, I don't care that other people do it, but a lot of people do. So do you guys get offended when people wish their mother happy Father's Day on Father's Day?
I wouldn't say I feel offended, but I feel like it's something that's birthed out of anger and resentment.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, yeah, forget you. Happy Father's Day to my mother because you wasn't there.
Yeah.
That's all it says to me, that there's some hurt or
It's
something that's
it's
still
He was missing.
that's with them personally.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's a whole other thing, you know, when you see them posts where it'll be, you know, some moms wishing themselves happy Father's Day.
That exudes bitterness.
That's a whole other bag.
Happy now, you know, but that does exude a level of bitterness. But does that offend men? Because I know from the female perspective, like a lot of females be like, man, that's corny, that's whack, don't do that. But as a father, Ernest, and a potential father, Kenny, do you feel away, or do you could care less?
It don't make a difference to me because I'm there for mine. So it might be another situation where that father is not there, you're deadbeat, and that mother really had to put on the role as to be the superwoman, to take control and be the man too. So I understand it both ways. I don't get offended because I'm there for my kid. There will never be a Father's Day where she get a happy Father's Day ever. So I don't have to worry about that. I'm
gonna remember this comment when you just said that Black men built this country.
Oh Lord.
Oh, on another road.
You don't know how we get down, right? So I'm gonna remember this. I'm gonna remember that comment. Okay, all right. What about you, Kenny? So do you get offended, or do you care, or do you just be like, it just both out of hurt and keep it moving?
No, I don't get offended. I think a couple of the fellows mentioned it, but it's built. It comes from, or it's birthed from, some anger, some resentment, just not being happy about the fact that they didn't grow up with a father, or they didn't grow up. They grew up and only knew their mother, and that was it. And so, like, I don't get offended by it because I understand that there was something that happened that festered up those feelings for them to have to, or feel like they need to express. So like it's one thing to actually feel and have appreciation for your mother for what she did to raise you. It's another thing to actually express that out in public, either on a public forum or to do it, you know, like speaking it or whatever, like saying it. It's another thing. But no, I don't get offended by it because I just, you know, I understand like that's how they grew up, and you know, they feel a certain way about not having a father in their life. I hope I don't plan on that being my child. So like Ernest said, like I don't feel a certain way about it one way or the other.
I have a question specifically for Jossie. On the episode, I think it was our first episode, marriage, dating, relationships. You made I think it was that episode. I don't remember. You made the comment about, you know, you spoke your truth about your father passing away, and you said something so beautiful on that episode, and it still struck me to this day when you made the comment that your father passed away, and it was like you couldn't keep father figures around in your life. Like it was just like they just was not staying. Like you try to attach to one and they will go away. Like and so you want to have kids. So what is that experience of like losing your father at such a young age, not really having strong male figures in your life, Black, white, or otherwise, and having a desire to have children? And you made a statement that and so you didn't know how to move because you only had your mother. And so when you went to college, it was just a free for all. You get it, you get it, you get it, you get it, we all get it. You know what I'm saying? And so you didn't know how to balance that. And now you're a grown man coming into your own and your own manhood. What is that experience like for you now? Understand that you didn't have that experience, but you want to get that experience.
I think for me, I think one of the, like I was saying back then, like growing up without it, like how Kenny and Ernest were both saying, like how they'll be in college and their father would literally like pull them and say, "Hey, son, do this, 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 and this." I didn't have that, so it was like, all right, let me figure this out. So I made a lot of mistakes along the way. Lord knows I made a lot of mistakes along the way, and I'm like truly grateful and sorry for those mistakes that I've made. But I think now, as an adult, I think I don't know if you guys like, if you follow me on Instagram, like you see, like I'm very about my godchildren. Like, like I'm always pumping up my godchildren. Like I got two beautiful goddaughters. One is like 8, and the other one just turned 1. So I think for me, I think not having that pushes me to want to be that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you don't have that father figure, and like Sam was saying earlier, like the media pushes this negative image of what Black fatherhood is. And it's so funny because I'm in a group chat, and my friend literally pointed out to me how if you look at the commercials about Black families, you rarely see a Black family complete. And when I say complete, I mean you see the mother, the father, and then the kids. You always see the mother and the kids. So it's like you almost always see that. So like when you see that, you like, dang, like, is this how they view Black fatherhood? Like, is it that we just absent, like always absent? So I think for me, I say, okay, all right, I see how these people that have left, like come and left, like even with my godfather, rest in peace, like how he came and then just disappeared on me for like damn near 10 years. And I didn't hear from him. And the crazy thing about it was the only reason why I knew he was alive was because I met a girl and she went to his church. That is the only reason I knew he was alive at that point. And so when he came back, I was like, I talked to him, and then we still had those issues to where he was like, come, leave, come, leave. So I was like, you know what? This is when I learned that life lesson that you don't always have to have success to learn what to do. You can learn what to do from looking at the negatives and looking at the failures and looking how people did wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, that's what it was.
Damn. Okay. So, Ross just kind of distracting with all of that. That was beautifully stated. So, how do you guys feel about that? When when the narrative of the Black family is incomplete, and especially right now when we're promoting Black love, Black unity. That's the, I don't want to call it a trend, right? But it's definitely been pushed very heavily over the past couple of years or whatever. And, does that, I know for Black women, and I'm only speaking from Black women that I know that we've had a relationship, and from my timelines, Black women were definitely pushing like Black love, marry Black, be Black, 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 right? That's the conversation. But from your guys' perspective as Black men, what is that conversation like between you and your homeboys, where y'all, talking, you're dishing, Ernest talking to his friend who's dating the neighborhood girl, or like y'all talk to your homeboys. Sorry. But like when y'all talking to between y'all amongst y'all friends or whatever, I know for us as females, we talk about like the importance of dating Black and being proud of being Black. And now that I am in a new level of like, now I'm out here dating again, and I'm now like, I mean, if Billy doing it right, then I might just have to give me a Billy. You know what I'm saying?
You better not. You better not.
Listen, I am not opposed to Billy. Fatima can tell you, Fatima always said that she thought I was going to marry a white man. But from our perspective, it's all about Black, 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 Black. What about you guys? Do you guys, was having Ernest, you guys are married, was it always you had to have a Black wife, or you just automatically knew you were going to have a Black wife? of course, also Stan, because you're married. And Solomon and Jossie, what about, yes, Brandon, Billy, or Solomon and Jossie? Did you know that you just wanted to have a black woman, or do you, because Jossie already said that you wanted a black woman, so, and Solomon, you're engaged to a black woman. So did y'all know that, or y'all was just down for whatever, whoever caught your eye, that's what she was rolling with?
Okay, so for me, and if you know where I'm from, I'm from LA. So LA, it is really and truly a melting pot of you got all races. You can get Armenian, you can get Hispanic, you can get white. So I think for me, I think I didn't really fully accept it, and I'm just being completely transparent and being honest, because I was very open to whether if it was a Hispanic, whether it was a white, because I was just like, you know what, God don't see no color, why should I? You know what I'm saying? And I think, no, I'm serious. I think, no, I was like, I think when it really hit me that it was that I should be, that I want a black woman, is how black women have always been so supportive of me. You know what I'm saying? And how they always been in my corner, whether I was out here messing up, or you know what I'm saying, or I was in my potential. So for me, I think it was recently, and I think it was because, like you said, like you see these Instagram pages that like Black Love Exists and Black Love and all this kind of stuff. And I think, yeah, for me, and I think that kind of fed into it, and it was just like, you know what, I really want that years ago. And then I was like, you know what, I'm cool. So I'll take a black.
All right. What about you, Ernest? Did you always know you was gonna get my Doris, or you looking elsewhere?
I never dated outside my race. So
You said what?
I never dated outside my race. So I don't even know that experience. But it's always been black for me. You can love whoever you want, but for me, it's always a black woman, because no other race don't know the struggle I'ma have when I walk out the door. So when I come home with a certain situation that happened to me, she not gonna understand it. Like, she gonna be looking at me like, that really happens, or especially a white woman, she gonna look at me like, oh, you went through that today? Or they looked at you crazy when you walked in here? So me coming home to me will be stressful, trying to explain to her what I go through on a normal basis. So to me, to have a black woman is one of the most beautiful things about a relationship, and in my relationship, because I could come to her and she will understand exactly what I'm going through, because some of the things I go through, she go through on a daily basis. So I think just being in a black loving relationship, that's the best. Even though I'm outside of that.
What about you, Kenny?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with Ernest. I actually did date outside my race and found that out, kind of in that way.
All right. Hey, and you gave us a warning. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's Brandon. He's distracting. Block him. Go ahead, Kenny. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's like, it's the same thing. Like, you don't have to have those kind of conversations explaining stuff. So and like, that's frustrating, because if you went through something, now you gotta go through it and explain why it's a problem, or if you feel a certain way and they don't, then it's like, well, this is why, or I don't get that. Why is it this way? And it's just like, I mean, because it is. So it's like, when I dated this girl, and it was a long time ago, probably I was 19 when I did it, 19, 20. And like, the girl didn't like her mom. Like, she didn't care for her family. She always questioned like different things that were going on with me. And I would tell her, this is how I feel about it, and I don't like that. And like, she was super needy, like all kinds of crazy stuff that, like, I at the time, I'm just like, is this what it's like to deal with a woman? But it was really what it was like to deal with like a white woman. So
I totally see you dating a white woman.
Nah, man, not no more, not no more. Like I mean, again, this is back like what now, almost like 15 years ago, 14 years ago, and so but I realized that there's just something about being with somebody that knows you, knows what you go through, knows your struggle, can talk to you the way you would talk to them, to have conversations on a level that other people wouldn't necessarily realize. And I think, look, that's kind of the way it is with interracial relationships all the time. There's going to be a level of education and like nurturing and figuring out this is how it goes. And like the ones that are successful, like they kind of like took that and brought it along and now they know each other over time. But like if you ain't invested in all of that and you don't want to deal with the different things that come along with it, then you're not gonna thrive or survive in a interracial relationship. So I learned that real early, and yeah, I even then I really couldn't see myself marrying a white woman or a woman from another race. But
Ernest's like, nah,
absolutely not after the fact. So yeah.
What about you, Solomon? So man.
Pops let me know at an early age if she can't use my comb, don't bring her home. That was cool. Now, granted, I was like, I don't know why you moved out to Fairfax County if you ain't want me to. This is similar to Dross. It was a big mixing pot. So I got exposed to all different races and stuff like that. And I do know early on, like in elementary school and stuff, I had my little crushes on some white girls, whatever, but I've never dated a white girl or anything like that. Once I got to the age where it's like I can go out on proper dates, it's never sparked my interest or anything like that. And I mean, I guess that's just a multitude of reasons. I don't have I don't know. It's the same way, I guess, with you not liking short dudes. I just don't like white women.
Bro,
I wasn't saying that. I'm saying that's okay. I'm saying
no, you're not.
I'm saying that's just my preference.
This is the first time you brought this up. Like, you guys are short, bro. Like, why are you so butthurt about me?
Because I gotta take up. I feel like I'm on the short end of the tall spectrum. I'm 6 foot even, so I'm not.
Oh yeah.
I saw something the other day where they call dudes under 5'11" short. I'm like, hold up, that's 1 inch away from where I'm at.
That's something there that you're projecting. You're projecting.
That's cool. That's cool. I'm just saying that's my preference as far as white women. That it doesn't do anything for me. This doesn't excite me.
Okay, so everyone, and what about you, Sam?
You really want me to answer that question?
Yes, I do. Because is Jasmine still listening?
I don't know, but all I can say is this. I'm gonna keep it real short and simple. If a black woman could raise your black, insert whatever you want to put. If you can feed your black, insert whatever you want to put there, right? You could do, a black queen could raise you, then why is she not good enough for you to marry?
Mm-hmm. And that's
so I have an issue with,
yeah,
people that you're okay with having a black mother, but you're not okay with marrying a black woman or a black queen.
So is it a difference though, because we have preferences, right? Like, what if people have their preference, right? I think it's okay to have a preference, but when it is like, that's all I date, I'm only going to date a white woman or a Hispanic, I think that's where self-hatred comes into the foreplay. Mm-hmm. But if that is just like, you have a multitude of type of women that you date or whatever, and you just so happily, marry whoever. Well, I told Brandon said not to use Becky because Becky's for something else, but marry Samantha or whatever, then that's cool. But when it comes to like you're spewing hatred when it comes to black women, I think that's where it's like, oh, you tried it because your mom is black. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's where the issue come into play. So now that we are, I see the comment section is still going up. Okay, pre-Sam, Woo Sam, you better speak that. A preference versus dating out of hate and hurt is different.
That's
Yeah.
real.
That's real.
I wanted to ask
That's
Sam
real.
that question. What if it's not, like, it's not black women not being good enough? What if,
And I think even to Fatima's comment, I think for me,
Hold on. Simon, what you say?
like, what if it's, under some, I like playing devil's advocate purely, to say, like, let's say, you're a person who is not attracted or wants to be with a black woman, but it just so happens that life put this white woman in your path, and certain things keep clicking or something like that. It's not. I don't see that as you not wanting a black woman.
That's okay, but the issue that's coming to the forefront when it comes to black women and why we get so hot, it's okay if you wind up falling for a white woman, right? That's fine, right? Like, you fall for who you fall. I don't believe you fall in love, but your thing. But when you come into the place of being degrading black women, or like putting black women on a pedestal that is below every other group, that's problematic. Like, I don't like black women because they ghetto, or like, man, I don't. Have you seen Dark Girls? It is the most enraging movie documentary I've ever seen. There's like these black men on there, and they were just talking cash money stuff about black women. It was like, I don't date black women. I don't like dark skinned women. Stop. And like, it's okay to have a preference. However, when you start to speak on black women, you better be ready for all the heat that's going to come with that conversation. Andrew, she was about to say something?
No, I was saying what Solomon was saying. I think it's like in the comments, I guess Fatima asks, is like the preference of dating, out of hate, or is it just a preference? I think, like you said, I think you find that out in their conversation, and how they talk. You know what I'm saying? Because you can say, if a person, like you said, like if you could just have a preference, like, oh, I like Hispanics, but like you said, when that self-hate comes in, then that's when you start to downplay black women. And then, like you said, like, I guess another question was like, why do black men, some black men, I'm gonna say some, why do some black men want they love black women in all aspects except for a romantic partner? I think, like you said, and like Jasmine said it best, it's a self-hate moment. I think that's a self-hate moment because I hate as a biologist, like, get my degree, like, the genetic breeding situation is real and people want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want, okay, I want the light skin black and I want with the good hair and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, yo, like, look, like, whether you my complexion caramel, or you light skin or you dark skin, like, the white man gonna see you as black regardless. So, like, why hate it? And like, no, and then, but I think, like, to kind of sum it all up, like everybody else said, it makes that, like Kenny and Ernest was saying, like, it makes that conversation even more difficult to have with your kids, because why is it that only daddy can talk to me about the issues plaguing the black people, and when I go to mommy house, when I go with mommy to grandparents' house, like, it's all these other issues. So,
you know what? It's something real quick, and I'm gonna jump off it so we can move forward. But I'm gonna specifically talk to Ernest because we're both from New Orleans or whatever. And so, growing up, I didn't realize how colorist New Orleans was until I left. Okay, and so I was talking to Jasmine Cockfield. J Love is us Jackson State people know her. But she's married to Sam. If y'all didn't know, y'all didn't put two and two together. And so I was talking to her, and I was talking to and I think I was talking to Rika, and we was talking about, like, in New Orleans, you're called by your color, right? Like, so You like say black, say red, and all that kind of stuff. And we had this thing called color struck. Do you remember that, Ernest? Do people still say color struck in New Orleans? Like they're color struck. And color struck basically mean like you prefer a specific color, right? Like a red girl, a red chick, or like but usually when you say color struck, you're usually always preferring the lighter skin. And so I didn't realize how colorist it was until I left, and I was like, dang, like even in New Orleans, understanding like Doris, who is Ernest's wife, we'll go like we'll be together, right? And it'll be say black me or say red Doris, and that's how dudes would like try to holler, and they'll pull on your belt loop. It's so ghetto now that I think about it. But they'll pull on your belt loop and be like, say red, say black, or whatever. And then like there's like, oh, I always want a red chick or da 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 da. And so understanding that and growing into that, growing up in that type of space it's not surprising why we still have that same type of mentality unknowingly. You know what I'm saying? Like understanding why the self-hatred in the Black community is so prevalent, because it's still to this day, according to Ernest, because I haven't been in New Orleans in a minute, but it's still a thing. You know what I'm saying? So like you can like who you like who you like, but when you talk negatively about Black women, just be ready for all the heat. That's all. You know. So we're about to close. Do anybody have anybody in the comment section, or you guys want to bring something up?
Hey Kenny, Jasmine talking to you.
Jasmine talking to you, Kenny.
I'm not gonna say nothing.
Look, there's still a little hurt. A couple years ago, there's a reason why she's still asking that question. We good.
Ooh.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a little. That comment came with a little hurt in her heart. So, like we said earlier, people do things with hurt. I'm not worried about that. It's okay.
Facts, Brandon. Facts. That is the straight New Orleans conversation. What if you and it will dog you out the entire time? Like will curse you out from the entire time. So Jasmine said she has a question. What does a Black boy? When do a Black boy go from pet to threat?
Ooh.
Come on, Jasmine, with the philosophical, deep questions.
When you get a little bit
pet to threat.
Anybody want to answer that? I know what I would say.
Go ahead.
I would say when women of other races start clutching their purse. When it turns from being he's so or she's so cute and they want to like pinch your cheek to when they see you they start.
Once puberty hitting that voice drop. Once that voice,
that's what it is.
once you get a little bit of bass, that voice, once you lose that baby voice, that's not a child no more.
Yeah.
Man, I honestly think it may even start a little earlier than that. To be honest, if you in school, your kid in school, and you get a 95, and little Timmy get a 91, and they ain't used to that, and they go home and tell mom. Now you became the threat to that kid, and they superiority. So I think you start right there.
When they stop it. Yeah, I agree.
That's scary. Never mind. Shut up, quiz. Okay.
Now go ahead with the quiz. Tell you.
Because Fatima and I had a bestie weekend in Nashville, and we was talking about the difference when it's like consciously. I don't know if you guys do it, but I know I did. I used to do it, and Fatima she used to do it too. So we become conscious of it. Where like you're walking down the aisle in the grocery store, or you on a sidewalk, and if a white woman or man is coming my way, like I would naturally just try to move out the way, right? Yeah. And they would never move. It will always be me moving out the way for them. And I was talking to Fatima, and I'm like, yo, You know, I realized that I'd be moving, and people don't be moving for me, but I would be moving. So I was testing out my theory, and I was like, I am not going to move. And I was just going to continue my walking. And it was interesting to see that they refused to move until we got mad close. And I had to be conscious, like, yo, don't you dare move. Like, don't you dare make room. And then they moved around. But we was almost like this close. And it's just very interesting to understand that. And so and that's me as a Black woman. And I can just only imagine for my nephew that's coming up. You know what I'm saying? Or like for a Black boy that's coming up, what that experience is like for them. Understand, like you don't want to walk around with your hands in your pockets, or with your hood on, or like anything can be perceived as a threat. And to me, that's alarming. And so I've never been the one that wanted kids. I'm like, oh my God, you guys know the ones on the Black man experience with me. I've never been the one to like really to want kids or whatever. I love being the auntie. I love being the godmother. But that to me is one of the big reasons of me not wanting to bring life in this world, because I ain't got time. Like I just feel like I would be like the most militant everything Black parent, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like I have to overcompensate for the self-hatred that they're going to get. So, do anybody have any comment, or because I'm trying to read all the comments?
Yeah. I see Tiffany's, and I want to.
Tiffany Mitchell or Rosier?
Tiffany Mitchell. I see, because she said, I'm a single mom of 3 teenagers, 17, 15, and 14. What is some things you can help me with, especially in the time growing up in this generation? For me, one of the things is just kind of working with that population, or that, you know what I'm saying, with that generation of Black kids. Find a male mentorship group that you can put those kids in. That'll be one of the best things that you can possibly do, because they're like, all the frats they might have, like, I know we have like Alpha League or Alpha Gens or whatever. Kappa, you got Kappa League. The Qs, they have one. The Sigmas, they have one. Find a little group, a male mentorship group that you can put them in, because, and I'll say this for me, because when I got into high school, that is when, as a Black young teenager, that's when you start to experience things that a mother really can't explain how to navigate. And they need a Black male to be able to teach them how to navigate that situation. You know what I'm saying? So like, what is the first time, like, when you start to, let's be honest, have sex? Like, when you know what I'm saying? Like, it's different for me. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, it was rough having that conversation with my mom. Like what? Like, I want to talk to you about this. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if you have a Black male, if as a Black guy, if I had a Black father figure or a male figure to talk about that, it would have been an easier conversation. So that was one of the things I recommend. Anybody else want to add to that particular question before we move on to Rika's? Good.
If you can't find a program, just find a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
Any male figure that's a positive influence, whether in the community or in your family. Start there.
So Rika says, how do you guys feel about your son showing emotion? Okay, I don't know if you guys saw the video, the photo with Smokey. Is it Smokey Norfolk? Smokey Norfolk had his son. He was like 16, laying on his chest. Actually, I don't know if Brandon or Swift is still listening. He talked about it on his show. What's your name? I forgot just the name of it. Oh, Brothers Been 2. He spoke about it on Friday. While Smokey Norfolk's son, who was like, I think like 16, was laying on his chest, like sleeping on his chest. And it created a buzz on social media, because some people felt like a grown man, a boy that's 16 or whatever, should not sleep on his chest. Wiz Khalifa kissed his son Sebastian on the mouth, on the lips, And when you see the photo, it looks way more intimate until you watch the video, and it was very quick pick. So, how do you guys feel about men showing? I'm saying men specifically showing affection to their son, and your son showing emotion.
I don't see nothing wrong with it. I mean, I think it goes back to the narrative, well, how you was raised before, well, a man shouldn't show emotion and you should be this tough person all the time. I love that my son tell me how he feeling every day. He tell me, look, Dad, you scare me when you do this, or I like when we do this, I like when we do that. Or if he cry, I don't tell him not to cry. I mean, that's a part of you. You're a human being. You have emotions. So, far as I hope at 16 he won't still come up under me and talk to me and lay up on me. I mean, I hope that's the case. I mean, because if I don't show him that type of love, he might try to find it somewhere else. So, I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I think it definitely should be encouraged. My dad was not the emotional type, but my mom definitely had enough for both, her and my dad. But as something that I think, that I even learning now more so from my parents is that the appropriate place to show emotion, especially as a Black man, at my job is not the place to show emotion. I feel like there are certain times that your child or, you and your child, you're going to be in places where everybody does not have your best interest in mind. Everybody is not, looking out for you, and you have to work with people, but at the same time you're competing with people or whatever the circumstance may be. But, there's certain times where negative emotions, I should say, not you. Of course, you can always show, gratitude or, things like that are positive. But, especially if you're like in a work setting and people are trying to get to you, you don't need to give them the satisfaction knowing that they got to you. You don't need to give everybody a transparent you. I feel like the transparent you is definitely reserved for a certain circle or certain people you're trying to reach. But in certain times, you need to protect yourself in certain ways. So yeah, I do believe, for a short answer, especially with my kids, I would want them to show emotion with me because this is a safe space. This is home base, but out in the world, I need to prepare you for reality. And reality is a lot of people are not going to either A, care about your emotions, or two, going to use them against you. So I think it's important to make your children aware of that.
Okay.
I agree with Solomon on that one. Also, I feel like when it comes to, I don't see an issue with your son showing emotion, but I do believe like just going back to the old school way of things, I feel like that's part of the problem in our community, and it raises problems in the future with communication because Black men, or when they were younger, didn't show emotions. They don't know how to communicate those emotions when they get older or come into manhood. So that creates problems in every relationship that you have. And if you don't, like, I think somebody said earlier, Black men or Black women, we all need to go to therapy. I feel like if you don't go to therapy for that, then it's something that's going to play throughout your lifetime. And it's something that may become generational that you're going to pass on, and it becomes like toxic. So
masculinity is such a thing. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, I agree. It's a time and place for it. That's what I would say. It's a time and place for it.
It's a place for it, but I think as a Black man, we teach our kids to be, especially our men, to be so tough. So when they get into relationships, it roll over to their relationship. Well, the Black women don't get the love they're supposed to. So even my dad, he didn't show that type of emotion. And watching him with my mom, they showed that type of emotion, but not as much. So when I got to my marriage with Doris, I had to realize that rolled over into my marriage, to where I didn't show her as much love as I should. So now, I mean, I grab her all the time, kiss her, and my son see that. So he do it to his little brother. When we see his little brother, he go over there, kiss him. I don't see nothing wrong with that. When he see me, every day, there's not a day that go by that I don't grab my son, hug him, kiss him, tell him I love him. To me, that there's nothing wrong with that. I think if black men change that narrative, I think our community will be better. I think everything, once black men fall in line, well, it's okay to show emotion. I think everything will turn out fine, but as long as we won't stand behind and act like we got this big shield of no emotion, that's what our generation gonna be. So I think it's healthy for our culture to show love. And him kissing his son, whether he kissed him on the lips, kissed him on the forehead, he's showing him love. That's on him.
Kissed me on the lip before. I don't see a problem with it. I'm like, he's not slapping you down, but like I don't see. I just feel like I really agree with Ernest when you say like when you try to make a child, like you have to understand the man, the little boy that you're raising will become a man. You know what I'm saying? And that man will be in relationships. And the things that you're implementing into those relationships, the girlfriend, the wife will have to deal with the result of that. You know what I'm saying? And understand we all do come naturally with our own drama, our own triggers and trauma. And that's understandable and expected. But when we all try to work on ourselves and you coming in with this overtly hard, unnecessary, you know what I'm saying? It's just like you're making the work harder than it needs to. You know what I'm saying? I think that we need to normalize affection. You're not soft. You're not weak because you want a hug, bro. Why? I feel like the tough ones gotta be tough on top of the broken ones. Like you broke it. Like, come here. You need a hug. Come here, baby boy.
It's okay. When you get to that age of Birdman and Lil Wayne.
Okay, that's a different.
Right, nah, that's a no.
That's a no.
Okay.
That's
right.
Yeah. I ain't talking about that.
If you have kids, kiss your sons, love on them. They need just as much affection as the girls do, right? Like we need it. It's still fair. Do you guys have anything before we do our champagne toast?
I don't even have that no more.
I just want to point out that you guys did so good. You guys did so good. I'm so proud of you.
We ain't even curse.
Huh?
We ain't curse or nothing.
You didn't curse or nothing. I didn't on mute this time.
I mean, you cussed a little bit.
So I had and stuff. So I'm really proud of you guys. I feel like the live have made you guys calmer a little bit. Maybe because we get to see. And Brandon is not on here to show his guns like he did last time. That was so stressful.
Oh yes, he did.
That's how I'm gonna have me some guns next time regardless of me or Brandon. I
was so stressed. But you guys, I really appreciate it. I think we need to have more these type of conversations to get the black man perspective. I think we as women, we talk enough for everybody, but the black. First of all, Ernest, don't get too excited when you do that. Like that was unnecessary. Like all that.
You know, I'm gonna defend myself, so you come with it. You already know.
You've been doing it the whole time, but if you really want to do that, we can do that.
You know, when them hands get to move, you know.
If you really want to do that, we can do that. Or we can do it off live. But we can do that if you want to do that.
Come on, man. Don't do it, Tisa. I got you together.
Bro, I'm here for it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Okay. Ernest and I have our own beef, but I'll be at his house in January, straight up. So I want to move to the champagne toast. If you guys do not know the champagne toast, to the people who's listening and to Kenny, it is the end of our podcast. And so basically we do a recap of what you took away from the conversation. And we're going to toast. What? Sasha, shut up. We're gonna toast to what you say. So you're gonna give your feedback of like what you learned or what you appreciate from this moment, and then we're going to toast to you, and then we move forward. Yo, I need somebody to answer Solomon. Okay.
Wait, only answer it. Wait, you can't answer it out loud if it's incriminating.
Okay, so Andros, he said we could say it out loud. So
I'm trying to think, man. Give me initials. Give me initials.
In a private message and in the group text about who this girl is supposed to be. So Andros, he has given us the green light to
I give you green light for initials. What was the initial? Oh, okay. All right, shut up.
Boom. And look, drop. And I was thinking that the whole time.
For real?
You don't want to go there. You don't
That's
want
what I said. No, don't go there. Don't go there.
It wasn't nothing though.
No, y'all have to give me initials now. Give me
that might give it. Nah.
Okay,
In the group chat, when we get off this.
Did I like her? Because I didn't like a lot of Simon girlfriends.
You never talk about her. I don't even know if you straight. Right?
Dang, put in the group chat. Okay, so we about to move to Andros. I don't see you texting. Put it in the group chat. Who the girl was?
Oh no. When we get off this, that's when I'll do it.
Okay, so when I
want you to mention this on the line.
Look, Kiara's standing right here, like, yeah, who was the girl?
In the chat, type in your champagne toast for the night. And we're gonna start with, I'm gonna start how my camera is facing. So it's Sam, then Draws, Solomon, Kenny, Ernest, and then I'll close it. And I want to also say before we get off, I don't know if you guys was in the last live that we did, but Brandon Ward, aka Professor Swift, is doing a Swift Minute. So y'all know that Brandon is going to be our future senator, president of the United States up in this bit, okay? And so he's starting his, so he's going to go on. Brandon, can you type in the Instagram? So he's going to start doing a Swift Minute once a week to tell you what's happening in the US when it comes to the politics, what's happening in our world today, right? So he's going to start doing videos starting in January. So when we have our next live, which is the second week of each month, the second Sunday of each month, by that time he will have some content for you guys, and so he'll come in and talk to you about a Swift Minute. So Brandon will be doing that. So Sam, we're gonna start with you, champagne toast. Everybody have their drinks so we can toast to each conversation. I'm sure that y'all drunk all y'all stuff. Look at you, alcoholics. All y'all empty.
I got a Corona left.
That's good enough. That's good enough. Take a little sip.
So, Sam, what's your champagne toast for the night?
My champagne toast for the night is toast to Black excellence, toast to Black love, also to fathers, current fathers and future fathers, letting their sons and daughters know it's okay to show emotion, right? For better families in the future.
Wait, so you're taking all the toast.
Man, we got to go rare.
Sam wants baby son. You said me?
Yeah, what's your toast for the night?
I'm toasting to all of the Black men on here, man. I know each one of us is going to be great fathers. I know Ernest is already a great father. Kenny is a great father. Coming in 3 months, they're going to be great fathers. And then also to all the Black men and women who are making Black families popular again. That's my toast.
Hey, I love that. Cheers to you, Jossie, Andy Dandy. Okay. If y'all don't know Andy Dandy, y'all listen to the first episode, you'll know
Andy Dandy.
Okay, Solomon, what's your champagne toast for the night?
I don't know. Toast to man, all the Black mothers out there, because without y'all, there would be no Black men to be Black fathers. You know what I'm saying? Toast to all the different champagnes and drinks that we've had tonight that have produced such great conversation and dialogue. Shout out to 414 because we in this thing. 414.
Solomon on me. Stop putting Solomon on me.
No, don't you do that.
So, are you finished with your toasting before so we can choose you or no?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. And shout out to being toasty with toast.
Shout being COVID free. Cheers.
Yeah, toast being COVID free. Yeah, Sheila said not 414. 414.
Okay, 414 is Kenny, Solomon, and Andros for the people who don't really care but want to know. Period.
With our partners. With our partners.
414 is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle.
Biscuits. I'm going to hang up on one of y'all.
Right there.
It's a brand.
Exactly. Just shout out to everybody on here. So all the comments, shout out to y'all for helping us, helping continue to feed us with good content and good questions. And the good laughs. Swift is still a fool and will always be one. So there. And then just cheers and toast to all the fellas on here. Continue to be great. Continue to live a great life, godly lifestyle. I know all y'all have the Lord in your lives, so continue to do that and continue to be great, man. I mean, we preparing to at some point in time, all of us in earnest right now, preparing to raise Black kings and queens. So continue to be great and prepare to do that. And Desmond. Go Rams.
Go Rams.
No, I can't drink to that, man. No, I can't.
Okay. No, you cheers.
Ernest, what about you? What's your champagne tonight?
Shout out to you for bringing us all
Pop quiz.
Without you, this wouldn't be possible. So we thank you for bringing us all together. Shout out to all the Black fathers out there that show their kids love. Keep showing your kids love. That's the way we're gonna break this crazy cycle that's going on today. To your future fathers, y'all seem like y'all ready, so find the right one.
The right one.
All right, and get the thing popping off. So congratulations to all y'all.
Yes.
Yeah.
My champagne toast is the fact that I have the fortunate opportunity to call on y'all brothers, and y'all. It's no issue. First of all, let me toast this. First of all, my first toast goes to Ernest because honestly, Ernest is the one that brought this conversation to life. Ernest brought this conversation to the forefront, right? And I just appreciate the fact that he trusts me with the topic and the conversation. So that's one. And even though I give all these brothers a hard time, and I do, I mean, I enjoy it, but the fact that I give all these brothers a hard time, and I haven't talked to Kenny in a minute, and the fact that I just reached out to him and he was like, no doubt. I just love the fact that I have amazing men that will just be like, I'm there. No questions asked. Like, I just rock with it, and it just makes me feel like I have a tribe of people, like a community of people that I can always reach out to. And I'm just so freaking fortunate. Kenny, you have to come back on. Everybody on here is vets, but you definitely have to come back on this thing. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta have Kenny back.
Do get a little bit more rowdy, so I'm really fortunate that y'all behave so well on this one. I know, right? It's Shay. Shay knows. You know what's up, sir. So I really appreciate every single one of y'all, and I think this was a great conversation. I think we said a lot of truth to power. And y'all know I don't do political correctness well. I like to just have the real, authentic truth. So I want to close by saying, First of all, we made it to 2020. We made it through 2020, and I feel like everybody deserves a round of applause for that. Okay, it was a hard year, and we're at the end of this thing. You know, I'm here for it. So that's my toast. Also, I hope you guys tune into a Swift Minute on Instagram. I want to make sure that I rep Brandon as much as possible because he's always repping me. And he has a show on Facebook every Friday, every single Friday. And they are hella crazy on that show. It's called Brothers 2. It's really, really good content. And he's also going to have a Swift Minute on Instagram. First of all, is anybody doing anything major, anything they want to show to promote or anything like that? Besides babies, anybody doing anything major or whatever? I just want to make sure that I want to. Okay, Jossie, you want to
shout out my business, Man of Vending LLC.
Hell yeah! I'm here for it. Congratulations.
Coming soon. Stay tuned.
Okay, so Jossie made a request, and I'm here for it. So Jossie, he wants to do a quick prayer, and so let's do a prayer. Everybody, let me put my drink down first of all. Minister Jossie.
All right, dear God, we come to you right now. We just say thank you. We thank you for giving vision and courage to Sequez to be able to hold space for millennials to be able to have conversations. God, we thank you for all the Black men on this podcast right now. God, thank you for letting us to be open. God, bless everyone that is listening. Bless everyone that's on this podcast. Bless the children that are from this podcast, and bless the children that are coming. This we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And we prayed. Period. We
Cross. Amen.
Balance. Okay.
Hey, boy, it's been a long time since I had a Droso prayer, man. That's vintage right there.
Here y'all go, man.
Vintage.
Okay, so I'm going to end the live here. You guys don't hang up because I want to know who the girl was. So I'm saying live here for them, but we're not going to be done. Okay, so I'm in the live. Bye, guys. I appreciate you.